Hey, I'm Shane from Shane's Law. Today I'm here talking with Ashley, one of the associate attorneys here at Shane's Law, about one of our recent client victories. So Ashley, tell us about this particular case. What happened?
So our client's driving along and another driver ignored a red light and ends up T-boning our driver, shattering the windows out all over her and causing some pretty significant injuries right at the scene.
We talk about a lot of accidents here at Shane's Law, obviously, and I think though a T-bone's got to be one of the scariest ones that we run across, just because while you get hit from behind, there's a ton of force from that side. It could be right there. It's right there, I guess, right outside the window.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
And that's what I say too. It's terrifying. There's windows shatter. Doors. All coming in on you. I just think it's a totally different experience than a rear-end collision, and that's what happened in this particular case.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, and it was one of those scenarios. You don't ever want to see the car smashed in enough where our client walked away with not one or two major cuts, but 7 or 8 huge gashes from the glass that shattered all over her.
Wow, and we don't see that a ton of times. Certainly not at rear-end collisions. Like we talked about those T-bones from the side. I think it just all comes right in on you, and there's nowhere else for it to go, I guess is what I'm gonna say. So what happened in this case? So the glass came in and hit her. What happened after that?
I will say of note, and what anyone should really do when they're in this kind of accident, she did a really good job taking pictures at the ER, showing what the damage was initially afterwards. So there was no way fighting how injured she was, because we had photo proof of it. And, when she hired us, she sent along those pictures. I asked her, do you have anything? She's like, yeah, I took a whole bunch of them. She's like, send me everything. We'll weed through it. But scars to 2 different ones in her face, one cutting into her eyebrow, one at the top of her head, another one up along her scalp, and one along the side that ultimately caused alopecia. So hair loss that just won't come back on two different areas of her scalp, where the front corner and then the back side of her head. Injuries aside, as a woman, and she's a younger woman, that's significant. It changes her appearance, it changes her confidence, her approach.
I've long felt, a scar on anybody's face, but particularly on a woman's face, it carries significant value because it impacts them. If you were to ask my wife, hey, how much for the scar on your face? She'd be like, not enough.
Yeah, exactly. And in her case too, she had some scarring along her arms, and then she had a very significant gash in her shin that actually cut so deep it severed some nerves and caused permanent nerve damage in her leg.
That's just a tremendous amount of, I don't want to say just glass, because it could just be metal cuts as well.
Yeah, there's still a lot of force.
It sounds like those pictures were just horrendous, and there must have been blood everywhere.
They were bad enough. This is the first time when I sent pictures like this to an insurance company, I included a warning page in case that adjuster does not do well with that, which they're not in the right field if that's the case. But I work through lunch sometimes, so I was like, let me be courteous. If this person's working through lunch, they might not want to look at this right now. It was that bad.
Well, how did the insurance company respond?
They tendered almost immediately. No fight. They understood the significance of the damage. I think in part it helped. We'd sent her to a plastic surgeon.
Okay.
To see if there's any revisions that could be done. The surgeon did note that there could be revisions, could not guarantee that there wouldn't still be scarring from it.
All right.
And did also note the scarring on her leg, there was no way that you could fix the nerve damage. So she was going to constantly forever feel that kind of pain. And in his report, we got a plastic surgeon writing that this is unsightly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which is massive.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
They see all kind of physical scars all day long. And I know scarring a woman's leg is obviously a big deal. The scars on the face is
the face
a huge deal. Ones.
Yeah.
And then you impact the hair as well, which is just another issue.
Her eyes were black and blue, full-blown raccoon for weeks following the accident. She had to go to a wound care center to get bandages redone for about 6 weeks after the accident.
Which is just a horrendous collision.
Yeah.
It sounds like she did the right thing immediately, taking those pictures and then taking good follow-up pictures as well.
And that's the other thing is, we told her to stay on top of it as it's healing, because adjusters usually want to see pictures roughly a year after the accident, because that's when you have a better idea of how permanent that scar is going to be.
Right.
So we had pictures probably about every 3 to 6 months from her, just showing how things were healing, what it looked like, which was really helpful. On the upside, as we were getting ready to negotiate this case, I met with her in person. I will say a world of difference from the year and a half or about a year before the accident, to the point where I was like, stop taking pictures now, because you actually have recovered better than anticipated. We don't need the insurance company knowing that.
Did she just figure out how to hide it with the makeup?
So her face, not so much makeup. Fortunately, she had a huge gash on her face where her eyebrow grew back in mostly over it. She's parting her hair different. So she still has the alopecia. She's had to make changes to the way she looks.
So she just changed her appearance to mask.
Yeah, and she's dealt with it really well, and the fact that she didn't let it keep her from, because she's a beauty consultant, she sells makeup.
Wow.
She needs her face.
Yeah, so she may have had some advantages skill-wise.
She may have.
the rest of us.
She may have, but I mean, that's her selling point.
Yeah.
So, you know, you really don't want to mess that up. And she looked fantastic, which made me happy, because, you know, you never want to, as much as, you know, injuries like this, you look at it and you say, I know I can get this person the policy, their life's forever changed.
Oh, yeah, no.
So to be able to see her and be like, listen, I would have never believed that you could look as good as you do after what you went through, was a nice way to close out her case.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Because even when you get that money, you still worry about that person.
You do, especially on the face. I mean, and the hairline, too.
And the hairline, too.
To me, it feels less serious than the face, but maybe not. I know many people receive facial scars in particular every time they look in a mirror. Man or woman, they see the scar.
Yeah, that's the first thing they're going to see. Every picture taken of them, that's where their eyes are going to go first.
And in this case, fortunately, she took all those pictures, so it wasn't minimized.
Yeah.
And it sounds like we were able to get a great settlement. How did she feel?
She was very happy. And I told her, I was like, we're not budging from this. We want the full policy here. You know, this is permanent damage to your face. But the fact that I warned her that it could be a fight. You know, insurance companies don't typically like to roll over. They're going to nitpick something.
Yeah.
And they didn't. So for us to have submitted her demand and then call her in a much shorter time frame than we had estimated.
Everybody was prepared.
Yeah, made her very happy, and we worked with her providers to make sure all her medical bills were covered, but to also make sure she was still seeing a significant portion of that settlement. So she was really happy.
Well, wonderful. It sounds like you did a great job on the case. Sounds like
the client did a great job.
Yeah, the client did a great job. Did everything she needed to do. Documented everything.
Yep.
I mean, the pictures every 3 months is a great idea.
Yeah.
It shows the progression, because like you say, those initial pictures, especially the face or scalp wound, is going to bleed a lot. And the insurance company knows that.
Yeah.
Allows them
to the bruising too makes it look so much, you know, worse than what it's going to look long term. So the insurance company will try and minimize that. You're right. But to take the pictures to continue to show that months later, you know, it still looks like the plastic surgeon said, unsightly. And the plastic surgeon saw her over a year after the accident, and those were his terms. So
it sounds like great job, client, taking all those pictures. Yep. Great job going to see a plastic surgeon even. So I know sometimes people don't want to. They're like, I don't want to do this. And, you know, even people don't like it, don't want to, because they're like, well, once I see this person, there's nothing else I can do.
Yeah, and she didn't want to. It's funny that you bring that up. She was not thrilled with the idea. She didn't like the idea of possibly undergoing surgery or being told it's permanent, but she was a willing client because I explained to her the impact it would have on her case. And at least then she would know what her options are. I always tell my clients, you don't have to do what's recommended, but you need to put all the cards on the table to make the best decision for yourself.
Know what you can.
Exactly. Do it when it's not you're the one footing the bill to go see that plastic surgeon.
Exactly.
And it's submitted to the insurance company, because it was, at the end of the day, it's their fault she ended up there in the first place.
And I know some plastic surgeons can prescribe some things to minimize the injury, you know, minimize the scarring or help it heal. So it sounds like overall a great result for a bad situation.
Yeah.
It sounds like she was lucky to have you, and sounds like you did a wonderful job, and she did an even better job.
She did. Clients like that make our job a little bit easier.
Doing everything she needed to do.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, great. Thanks, guys, for listening. If you'd like to hear more client victories, hit like and subscribe down below. And always remember, if you're in pain, call Shane, 980-999-9999.
In pain, so I call Shane, 980-999-9999. In pain, call Shane.